Elon was asked a question on this by a journalist. The journalist said to him, in a world where you believe that to be true, that artificial general intelligence is around the corner, when your kids come to you and say, Daddy, what should I do with my life to find purpose and meaning? What advice do you now give them if you hold that intuition to be true, that it's around the corner? What do you say to your children when they say, what should I do with my life to create purpose and meaning? And
Did you say that Elon answered this question? Yeah, what did he say?
it's one of the most chilling moments in an interview I think I've seen in recent times, because he stutters. He goes silent for about 15 seconds, which is very un-Elon. He stutters. He stutters a bit more. Like he can't. And then he says he thinks he's living in suspended disbelief, because if he really thought about it too much, what's the point? He says, what's the point of me building all these cars? He was in his Tesla factory. What's the point of me building all these cars? And what's the point? I do think that sometimes. So I think I have to live in, as his words were, suspended disbelief.
Right. Well, I would encourage him to ask what's the point of spending so much time on Twitter, because that he could clearly benefit from rethinking that. But that aside, I mean, my answer to that is, and I think other people have echoed this of late, I mean, it's sort of surprising to me. My answer is that this begins to privilege a return to the humanities as a kind of a core, like the center of mass intellectually for us. Because when you look at what we're really good at, and it's among the last things that can be plausibly automated. And if we automate it, we may cease to care about it. So it's like learning to write good code is something that is going to be, it's being automated now. It's you know, I'm not a programmer, but you know, I have it on good authority that already these large language models are improving code, and something like half the time they're writing better code than people. That's all going to become like chess, right? It's going to be better than people ultimately. So being a software engineer is something that, you know, and being a radiologist and being like those things, it's easy to see how AI just cancels those professions, or at least makes one person, you know, so effective at using AI tools that, you know, one person can do the work of 100 people, so that you got 99 people who don't have to be doing that job. But creating art and, you know, writing novels and being a philosopher and talking about what it means and to live a good life and how to do it, like that's something that if we have to look at those, we have to look at where we're going to care that we're actually in relationship and in dialogue with another person who we know to be conscious. Or like where we don't care about that, we're not going to care. We're going to want just the best version of it. Like, I don't care if the cure for cancer comes from an insentient AI. I do not give a shit. I just want the cure for cancer, right? There's no added value that where I find out, okay, the person who gave me this cure really felt good about it, and he's, you know, he had tears in his eyes when he figured out the cure. Every engineering problem is like that. We want safer planes. We want, you know, we just want things to work. We're not sentimental about the artistry that went into all of that. And when the gulf between the best and the mediocre gets big and consequential, we're just going to want the best. We're just going to want the best all the way down the line. But what is the best novel, right? What is the best podcast conversation? What is and can you subtract out the conscious person from that and still think it's the best? And so someone once sent me a what purported to be I didn't even listen to it, so I'm not even sure what it was, but it looked like it was an AI generated conversation between Alan Watts and Terence McKenna, right? And both guys who I love. I mean, I didn't know either of them, but fans of both. I've listened to hundreds of hours of both talk. As far as I know, they never met each other. It would have been a fascinating conversation. I realized when I looked at this YouTube video, I realized I simply don't care how good this is, because I only care if it was actually Alan Watts and Terence McKenna talking. Like a simulacrum of Alan Watts and Terence McKenna in this context, I don't care about. Right. So another use case I stumbled upon. I was playing with Chatgpt, and I asked it, the causes of World War II. Give me 500 words on the cause of World War II. And it gives you this perfect little, bullet pointed essay on the cause of World War II. That's exactly what I want from it. That's fine. That's like, I don't care that there was no person behind that typing. But when I think, well, do I want to read Churchill's history of World War II? It's on my shelf to read. It's it's kind of one of these aspirational sets of books. Haven't read it yet. I actually want to read it because Churchill wrote it, right? Like that's why. And if you could give me an AI version of Churchill, saying this is in the style of Churchill, it's even Churchill scholars say this sounds like Churchill. I actually don't care about it. Like that's not the use. I'll take the generic use of give me the cause of World War II. The fake Churchill is profoundly uninteresting to me. The real Churchill, even though he's dead, is interesting to me.